Gulls fans, happy Monday and welcome back to another episode of the Gulls 25 for 25 podcast. I am very excited to be joined by two of our very special guests today, Robin and Kevin Buck, two of our very, very dear host families for the Newport Gulls organization over the past couple of seasons. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. You know, I think this, and I want to have a couple of these when we're, inviting our host families on this podcast over the course of the off season, because when I look back last week with the episode that we did with our vice president, Chris Patsos, and his son, Derek Patsos, the community aspect of the Gulls is a lot bigger than, I would say the baseball team of the Gulls, right? And I think at the heart of that community piece is the host families. It's you guys, right? And I would be remiss if I didn't say how thankful we are for you guys, the host families in general, because, without the host family program, we're not housing our kids and we're not bringing guys down here every summer, right? And, you guys put in the most effort every single season. You welcome your homes to all of our players every single year, and we are just forever grateful for all of the support you've given our organization over the past couple of years, and for you guys especially who have been committed to this for multiple years now. It's something that we just cannot express our deepest gratitude for, and we are so incredibly thankful for
Thanks.
You guys.
We
Absolutely, of course.
Glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So going into 2026, what year is this for your family hosting Gulls players?
So we've hosted for 3 years, and we plan to host again this summer, so it'll be year 4.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to kind of, because I think I look at it, personally from being responsible for hiring people like the interns. I tell them all the time, everybody's story is different. Not one intern applicant who comes to me over the summer has, shares the same story or interest in how they've got involved in the sporting world, right? And I think we can, really see a similarity there in between the uniqueness of becoming host families here in Newport. So I want to know the story about how you guys first became, interested, and then, how did, you guys get, linked up with the Gulls for the first year of hosting?
Wow, you want to go on that?
So we've known the Gulls since they started the organization and always wanted to host, but just weren't able to. We had 2 girls in the home and 1 shared bathroom. So when we became empty nesters, we had friends who had been hosting and really enjoyed their experience. And we would go down to games, and then we were like, well, hey, we can do this now. And we've never looked back. It's been great. And we didn't have sons, so that's been an extra bonus, having boys in the house. It's good. Kevin enjoys having a little company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun. Fun to talk baseball after the games with the players.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And I think it's it's really cool to see the relationships you guys build with these players too, right? I even look back at a year with you guys hosted Finbar O'Brien this past season, and he actually came to stay with you guys this past holiday, right?
That's
talk
right.
about, if you could, talk a little bit about what the relationship with the player means with you guys as well. I mean, obviously a connection with like Finn this past season is awesome. Getting to see him, not in the summer, and then an extension of just catching up all the time. But what does that relationship mean to you guys with the player overall?
Well, I think we both kind of look at it as we're kind of like their summer parents.
Right.
So we don't have to be as strict with them.
Right.
We don't have to be hard on guidelines and deadlines and curfews and things like that. But it's kind of nice to have somebody who is mature and in the house and converse with them at times, and they've really kind of become both a family member and a friend all the same. And actually all 3 summers their parents have come and visited.
That's
and
awesome.
Haven't stayed at our house, but they stay elsewhere, and we get together and have dinner or breakfast. They come over to the house, so it's a good friendship builder.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we got messages over the holidays from all the parents, either a card or a text, so the families are so appreciative that we take their sons who are really living out their dream. They are so committed to baseball, and their families are so committed, and they, the big joke, Finbar thought we were paid. And
No way.
he couldn't believe it. I said, I wouldn't do it if I was paid. I said, that would take away from it. So he couldn't believe we didn't get a stipend.
Wow.
So
Have to
spoiler alert, but
have to talk to Chuck about that.
Right, exactly. No, I think I appreciate the connection with the parents of it too, right? Because what people might look at it, from a forward-facing standpoint when they're first taking a look into the host family program, is it just welcoming the guys into the home for the season? How closely do you guys converse throughout the summer? I mean, obviously these kids are playing 6 days out of the week, right? So there's not a lot of that downtime when they are home. Sometimes maybe they're hanging out with some of their other teammates throughout the island as well. But is it important for you guys to connect with the parents prior to the kid you're hosting, as important as really making that connection with the player as well?
I don't think it is absolutely needed, but I know Robin goes out of her way to communicate with the incoming player and say, what kind of foods do you like? What do you tell us a little bit about you so we can, if you're allergic to peanut butter, we won't have peanut butter in the house. Yeah. So it's good to know those things before they come. Right. Kind of as you would with your own child. So absolutely. It's I think that's important to communicate and then get to know their parents a little bit too. So. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think it's kind of just understanding, like Kevin, you said, understanding the lifestyle of these kids, who they are, understanding their little quirks, their MOs and stuff like that, to kind of to bring them into that welcoming atmosphere, right? It's good to kind of have those thoughts going into it before we you guys receive those players. Yep, absolutely. Do you guys have a favorite part of the host family program, whether it's something player wise, something Newport Gulls organizational wise? What do you got? What does being a host family mean to you guys, and what is your favorite aspect of being a host family?
I enjoy the camaraderie of, you go to Gulls games and it's kind of like a high school reunion. Right. You get to see everybody that. For me anyway, I grew up in Newport. I grew up playing baseball at Cardines Field, and I see a lot of people that I grew up playing baseball with who are now host families or just come to the game. So I enjoy that aspect of it, as well as I said before, kind of talking shop with the players after the game, because I had 2 girls who didn't play baseball, so I get to kind of relive my seasons through the players' eyes. And, so it's fun. I enjoy that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say, so our girls were in the home younger when the Gulls started, and one of our daughters was actually friends with Chuck's daughter. And so we've known it since its inception. And Chuck's podcast, he mentioned the mission of the Gulls. Yes. And they have hit that on the target. And just being part of a community organization that provides wholesome entertainment, that supports and gives back to the community in so many ways. When you look at the people working the gates and the volunteers and the raffles, and I know Derek talked about the RISLA group that comes out and the all the special events. So it's bigger than just playing baseball, and I just love that. It really is an asset to our community. Yeah, absolutely. You guys, like I said, you guys are the rock of everything that we do, and we would not be who the Gulls are today without you guys. We're actually holding a nice little host family informative event later this February, Friday the 13th, funnily enough. But the Gulls have yet to do, kind of an outreach host family community event where we're informing the public about, what it means to be a host family, what's required, what's not required, maybe some, debunking some, common myths that might be involved with being a host family. If you guys could give a couple of, little, tips and tricks to, some folks maybe watching the podcast at home, what can you expect when you're coming in as a host family? What's the environment like? What are a couple of things that we might want to communicate to those folks watching? Other than you don't get a stipend, I would say it's so much easier than we thought, because as you mentioned, the players are gone all the time. They're on the road playing games, they're doing camps, they're with their other friends. Our player was very, all of them have been very disciplined. These kids are so committed to baseball They're not going to mess around. They're not here to goof off. They're here to get so much better. And so they're either up at the field or down at the gym, practicing working. So it's really, sometimes you're like, come on, just stay home for a little bit. But so I think it's a lot easier, and you all feed them before the games, and there's food after the games. So a lot of times I'll prepare food and it'll just sit there. And then they like to go out and eat Chipotle and all the common places that they are, used to from college food. So it really is a lot easier. And I think one of the things that's been helpful for us is you have to set those expectations right at the beginning.
Right.
It's okay to have an adult conversation. These kids are adults, or these players are adults, and have that conversation. Like, this is what we expect from you. And we've always had them respect that and honor that. They're great kids. They're high caliber on the field, in school.
Yeah.
And in the community.
Absolutely.
They're
Right.
great
And I
players.
think
Great
a lot
people.
of that is a tribute to the Gulls organization and the recruiting process that Chuck and the whole team do.
Yeah.
That I know they've driven home the fact that character is probably more important to them than baseball skill, and I think that's a great way to look at it. And being a host family is. We've talked to so many people that think it's kind of invasive in their personal lives. It is such a light lift. Like Robin said, most of the time you don't even know they're there.
Yeah.
I mean, they come and they go and they get picked up if they need a ride, and they're at the camp, they're at the field, they're
Just leave the lights on, because the away games, they come home late.
Exactly. Especially on those trips up to Vermont where they're not coming home until like 2 in the morning. But yeah, I think it's, these kids, it really is the character part of it, I think,
Absolutely.
right? Because these kids are so, obviously it's the whole, student over athlete thing as well. But, the character of these kids that we're bringing to Newport especially, I know for a fact, someone like Chuck, someone like Chris, if they hear through the grapevine that, there might be some issues there, they're not even going to take the gamble on the kid, right? And, obviously, there's situations that can't always control all the time, but, for the most part, these kids are incredibly dedicated to their craft. I hope they're as respectful to you guys as, they might be to us at the field. And I think overall, like you said, maybe, they're not even at home a lot of the times, right? With the games, the camps, the community events, the mascot appearances, player appearances, all that stuff. But, overall, would you consider the host family program rewarding on your guys' end?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's and the parents are so appreciative. As I mentioned before, these players are not where they're at because their parents haven't already invested a ton in them. So they are just so appreciative. And our players, I know most of them will call their parents as soon as the game's over or on their way to they have a really good relationship with their parents, which also carries over. But it's been so rewarding. And as Kevin mentioned, going down to the field, we bring our moms down, we go down with our kids and their friends, and we'll invite coworkers, and it's just a really fun atmosphere, and the price is right.
Yeah.
You cannot beat the price of a Gulls ticket
Absolutely.
in Newport.
$5.
So
it's been the base since we've been around in 2001, and then I don't think it's going down anytime soon.
so worth it.
Absolutely. And I think overall, because you guys mentioned you've been around since 2001, have been hosting for the whole 25 years, but as the Gulls look forward here to a 25th anniversary in July, culminating in a Hall of Fame ceremony and alumni reunion weekend, what does a 25th anniversary mean to you guys who's been around this team as a fan and a part of the community for the past 25 years?
I think one of my favorite parts at the games is when you do the Gulls in the big leagues promo, and when you the World Series this year had a couple of former Gulls, and maybe they're
Will
not
Smith,
here the whole
Tommy
season
Edman, right?
because they get drafted early on, but just to celebrate the accomplishment of and 25 years is a long time, and the organization has, when you think of what it was like 25 years ago, and it's only gotten better every year.
It's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the family atmosphere that Chuck always tries to drive home.
Absolutely.
And the community outreach and it, the spider web amongst the community that the Gulls is involved in is incredible. So I just think the entire community is appreciative of what they've done, where they're going, what they do, what they stand for, and that's why so many organizations want to be a part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so this is a question I ask every guest who's been on the podcast so far. Do you guys have a favorite moment over the past 25 years of consuming the Gulls, again, being part of the community? Maybe we could do a top 3, but, what are some of those, all-time memorable moments that you think you guys will cherish for, the rest of your lives here?
Wow. Winning a championship is always kind of cool.
Yeah.
Back-to-back was really
Right.
great.
Yeah. I know, I thought it was us. The first 2 years we hosted, they won. I said, all right.
There you go. The Buck effect.
A favorite one? Gosh, I'm not sure I can come up with one favorite one.
No, I mean, I think just seeing Cardines being used and improving, and people have heard about Cardines that have never been to Newport. People who love baseball, love the history of Cardines. So I think celebrating the history of baseball in our countryside, I think that's just seeing it's kept in good repair, and I like that.
And I know the Gulls have a lot to do with that because, again, it's a city property, but the Gulls, part of what you do is maintain the field, take care of the field, and actually improve the field, which I know the city appreciates, and I'm sure the community does too.
Absolutely.
Most of them probably don't even know what happens, but it's gotten a lot better since when I played there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking back to the players you guys have hosted these past couple years, understanding with the 25th anniversary coming back, what would you say to those handful of players, understanding that we're trying to get as many alumni coming back to Newport and Cardines Field this summer? What would you say to the players you guys have had the opportunity to host, with the idea of, hey, let's bring them back, come back to Newport, celebrate a nice little 25th anniversary with us?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to be in Newport in the summertime?
Absolutely. Right?
Okay, what you come for.
We'll find spare beds in the homes of our family members. Come on back.
There you go.
Friends and family.
Absolutely. That's what it is.
It's definitely a great place to hang out, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are beyond excited to see all of our wonderful alumni, players, coaches, past host family members, interns, staff, and everybody that has had the opportunity to have such a great impact on this Newport Gulls organization over the past 25 years. And the entire board of directors, ownership group, myself, and my staff are so eager to welcome everybody back.
It's gonna be great.
This summer.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a blast, and it's gonna be fully pun intended, but it's gonna be a home run.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure 3 days is long enough.
Oh my gosh, I know. We're already being inundated with a lot of requests to come back. Chuck's getting Facebook messages all the time. It's like, I'm booking my flight right now with my family. We can't wait to come back and see you guys and reminisce for the summer. It's good. It's shaping up to be, because the 20th anniversary got halted because of COVID.
Right.
So we're hoping that this 25th anniversary is a real, kind of the best alumni reunion week we've held. So we're definitely looking forward to it. We're looking forward to having all the wonderful alumni back at Cardines Field and in Newport this summer. Kevin and Robin, thank you guys so much for joining us on this 25 for 25 podcast. And we cannot wait for another exciting season. And again, we are so grateful for you guys to be a part of our wonderful Gulls family and host family network.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
was great.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Gulls fans, we will be right back here next Monday, for another episode of the 25 for 25 podcast. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.